It's time to get on them. It's the noise, baby. Oh, it's the noise, baby. Oh, it's the noise, baby. Oh, it's the noise, baby.
All right, welcome once again to the Independent Black Voice. I'm your host, beatzillapdx official, and this is going to be the report for the midweek, otherwise known as the midweek report, which has been known to be its own independent thing, but it is now just incorporated to or into the Independent Black Voice. And you are now in tune to that voice. Hit that like button, share this out on your social media, subscribe if you are new here, or if you are watching on X or Facebook, come on over here, subscribe to this channel. That is the Independent Black Voice channel on YouTube. You might still be able to find it or search it under beatzillapdx official. Also, because that is still the name attached to this channel. But with that, you can also join this channel and support this platform in that way and become a member. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on each and every one of my members. And thank everyone for tuning in on this Wednesday. So we aren't going to be here long, but we're going to be here for a little bit. And we have some things to talk about. So first up, we are talking about, of course, the Frisco fiasco that has put one young man in the view of the law, and another young man has went to the great beyond. And it's unfortunate. But one thing that is happening with this Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf story is we are able to see real time the victimhood of the dominant society, the absolute anti-blackness that has been entrenched in this culture, so much so that somehow with the fervent evil that they can spew online, somehow they believe their children would be affected in the classroom by reading a educational piece teaching history. And this, they can't help themselves but come out with the absolute angry anti-black rhetoric. And it's amazing to me that, oh, your kids aren't affected by inherently looking at other races as inferior, but if other people speak of you doing that, then that's a problem. And that because you'll feel some kind of way. So understand what we hear then. Telling them the truth about their actions hurts their feelings. Well, I don't want to be called a racist because I'm not a racist. Do you see how most of these people, because there's a lot of those people who are reacting and responding and posting regarding this young brother. And they very much are racist. They very much so are racist. Don't kid yourselves. They are absolutely racist. They have done nothing different. They have changed no pattern of behavior from slavery. This is a perpetual hatred. And I would hope some people would understand that. I know we're going to have people out here that will try to get away from that and call it something else. I just recently stumbled up across I don't even really know what to call this guy. Let me see. Did I get any of his stuff? Because this guy right here is a very, very interesting coon. I'll just call him straight out what he is. This guy is a bona fide coon, and We might have to get this guy up in here. Let me get this in here. I'm going to share my X feed with y'all real quick. Because I saw this dude. He's one of these guys that comes out and, he likes to talk about how he wants to apologize to white people for black people being so racist against them. And, when you see stuff like this is just shining. However, we do have our own homegrown coons. And so I need y'all to understand the difference in the homegrown Sambos versus the tether class. The Sambos, and you can easily tell the difference because they'll come with this with this kind of subservient attitude to where, hey, we can't make them people mad. I love them people. And them people be good to us. And you just over here messing it up for all of us. All this hatred y'all talking about. And y'all trying to black it up. Let me say something about this. Now, you see this guy on your screen? Do you see this fellow on your screen? He's a reverend. He's a pastor. Goes by the name, I believe his name is Pastor Jordan Wells. And he's one of those mushmouths that believe just because he puts pastor or reverend on his name that we are supposed to hold him to some regard that he has not yet earned in front of the people just because he put that title on himself. I have an aunt this exact same way. Let's hear from what this alleged pastor has to say to the white community, because he has, and as you see, this would let you know he was going left in the first place. Do white lives matter to the black community or the life of Austin Metcalf? Don't know why you would be asking that question, but of course we do. So without further ado, some food for your ears that might make it bleed.
I want to tell the black community, I want to tell people on the NEI on the left, that Austin Metcalf's life matters. And that's why I talk about it every day. Because when we in our culture begin to normalize murder and say that it's okay because somebody touched your bag.
Okay, so something about these types, and this is one thing that you will get and we'll probably notice a lot from the homegrown Sambos. There is the presenting part of a man. But everything that they say, and if you listen good enough, in the way that they are saying things, they represent what other people have coined down low. So you got a lot of these guys that move in these conservative Christian circles, like Jesse Lee Peterson. A lot of these dudes be moist. And what they really prefer is zaddy. So when you hear them talk like this, part of their interest is being accepted by white males for various reasons, but they have put their self-esteem into acceptance. That's why you have a lot of people believing their Christianity wipes away their blackness. And then you have some of these other black conservatives, and this is why they're losing their minds, because their space is getting tight. And what they're feeling right now is the grassroots, the black opinion and the black authority not to be confused with Jason Black, but I'm saying the authority of the Black community. That's coming first and foremost in the front of everybody's understanding. And this whole, oh, well, I'm just going to go along, get along routine, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, is not going to work. And in this present day, for this guy to act like white lives matter, and I'm going to talk about this because Black people feel that murder is okay in our community. Was he doing this at Jordan Neely, for Jordan Neely? Was he doing that? When all of them were calling Daniel Penny a hero? And again, also a large part of how I'm just looking at this guy. This is a lot about clout, and he's trying to make his name. And hopefully maybe he can get a check from somebody that want to pay a good staunch self-serving coon like this pastor here.
Or somebody threatened to touch you, not kill you or harm you, but because they just touched you. Then we tell our young kids that are already being influenced by rap music and rap culture
there it is.
That it's okay if somebody threatens to touch you, to take their life. That we're in a very, very dark place as a people. His life mattered. That's why I stand up and defend it. Because as a preacher, you're a hypocrite if you say white lives don't matter.
I don't think anybody said that.
God loves all lives because he created white people as well. So white lives matter.
Ooh, Pastor. No, Pastor, that's not correct. There's no verse in the Bible, and I stand on this. There's not one verse in the good book that says God loves everybody. Nowhere will you find that. That is one of the biggest lies these fake Christians say. He loves everybody. No, that's that slave Bible you was reading. But let's hear more.
Matter. And so does the life of Austin Metcalf. His life matters.
Uh-huh. Wow. And that's how he ends his video. These people are delusional, man. So on the reality side of the game, this judge, who happens to be a Republican, is the one who literally let this man out. Let this young man out, let me say. It's so funny. And these people are, oh man, let's try to make excuses. I don't know how. I just don't. I don't get it. At this point, with all the truths that's coming out, y'all have sat back, watched lies after lies come out. I'm watching right now the lies that they were talking about Austin Metcalf, or not Austin, but Karmelo. They trying to say, oh, well, yeah, Karmelo, he and his family, they got all that money. They raised all that money and they live in a $900,000 house. And now remember, at first he was a thug and they broken home and they come from poverty. And this is what happens when you come from this. And oh man, all those ghetto kids. Now that the truth comes out, and they can't even report this accurately. So get this headline. Teen killer Karmelo Anthony receives parade of deliveries at family's $900,000 gated community home after crying poor to get out of jail. Lord. A Texas teen, and this is from the Daily Mail. This is how the UK, by the way. So and so when you see New York Post pretty much just copied this ad. And so you could see this is all about railing against the black community, just like that coon just did. He's one of the reasons why we have issues in our community, because we got too many people like that. And that's a problem. That's a major problem. So it says a Texas teen charged in the stabbing death of a track star is holded up in an exclusive gated community in a $900,000 house, despite claiming to have limited financial means, as he convinced a judge to release him from jail. First off, let me correct something. The track star is Karmelo Anthony. There's no star in Austin Metcalf. He was on the football team. He was not a star of it. And he wasn't on the track team. And he definitely wasn't the star of it. However, Karmelo was the star of the track team and also the captain of his football team. So he got better grades, was better in sports, and lives in a 2-parent household in a gated community before ever raising a dime. So now they're upset that he has money. And again, he's allowed to. What about all of these other people? Who said Daniel Penny was poor? Who said Daniel Penny needed the people's money? They still got it to him. Nobody complained then. This is a situation where, man, now he got all that money. They need to stop the other money from getting it, because the house they live in is worth $900,000. Now they're counting this kid's parents' money. Regardless of how much money they make or got, I can guarantee you nobody was sitting around expecting to have to fight a murder trial in 2025. So that's a lot of money to pay for a lawyer and all of that. And then on top of that, you still have to afford to live in that nice luxury gated community that these people are hating on. Like, there ain't rich black folks in Texas. There are, aren't there? And I guess because they're more well-to-do living in Frisco, Texas, which would have a lot more well-to-do people, as it appears, based on demographics, they're upset that they live in the nice neighborhood. So all of the way that they flipped from lying on him in the first way. Now they're proceeding to lie on him the opposite way. Goes on to read. Karmelo Anthony, 17, walked free from a prison after a controversial decision by a judge to lower his bond for charges that he stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf at a track meet on April 2nd. Local cops say that a confrontation between Metcalf and Anthony broke out during a high school track meet when Metcalf called out Anthony, who did not attend the same school as Metcalf, for sitting under his team's tent. Again, wasn't his job. He's not an adult. He has no business doing anything like that. Metcalf demanded Anthony leave. First off, who is he to demand anybody? Metcalf demanded Anthony leave, and the argument escalated when Anthony produced a knife and stabbed the junior from Memorial High School in the chest. Now, as it appears, nobody really even knew he had a knife. He had his hand in his bag, so he was trying to, not have to even brandish it. That's extremely responsible considering the moment. Then patient enough to have been touched in the first time. What they keep trying to ignore is that then they tried to jump him. Because if you look at the picture of where the tent is and then where all of this ended, clearly there was a lot more tussling going on. And so it didn't work out after they tried to do it. Now everybody's screaming victim. But why do you think they're slow playing this? And here's the other truth of the matter, which I don't understand why this keeps getting put out here like this, is this brother has not been indicted yet. I don't know if anybody knows that. There's no indictment in this case yet, just in case anybody was wondering. I just find it funny that, everybody seems to miss that part. Let's see, where's that window? Share that. Okay. Let me get this in here. Okay. So y'all can see what I'm looking at. All right. Y'all can see that. It says Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms, who was also at the track meet. He called him a track star. What was he there to run? What was his event? As part of terms of his release, Anthony is under house arrest and must wear an ankle monitor. The teenager is now hunkered down in a Frisco home located on Mercedes Lane, and his family is renting for an estimated price tag of $3,500 a month, according to Zillow. See, why are they doing so much trying to find out what a child's family is doing? This doesn't seem like the slightest bit of harassment. When have you ever seen this? You got school shooters who don't get this type of treatment. They didn't do this and see where, what type of money Kyle Rittenhouse's parents were making. I don't even know who Daniel Penny's parents are. Crazy. When Daily Mail visited, and why did y'all visit the home anyway? What are you bothering them people for? Well, since when? We're gonna go again. There's not. This isn't TMZ. That's insane. No, we're gonna go over there and harass this kid. That's what you guys were doing. When Daily Mail visited the home Tuesday, a white Suburban, a black Acura, and a third sedan were parked in the driveway. Why are you telling the world what they're driving? One resident told Daily Mail the family just purchased a new vehicle, and that wasn't true. Accused, and he's an alleged killer, Karmelo, and he's, alleged. And the charges he hasn't been indicted. So there's that. They haven't even got an indictment. When you can indict a ham sandwich, but they haven't rushed to get the grand jury to get this charge on him. Because what did they charge him with? M1. Everything that you already know about this case throws that out. Can't get premeditated anything. The whole fact that you talk about premeditated on a freak incident between strangers is far from premeditated. But she'll still ride that lie. Anyway, some more pictures here. Let me see. See, now I don't even remember hearing anything about this part, family, and they just keep announcing it. Now they're showing you the house. They're showing you the cars. This is anti-Black hatred on 1,000. Austin Metcalf was killed and stabbed on the chest. So they keep telling you, and then look at what they do. They tell you, oh, look at the pictures. This is what's happening. And then here's the next picture. Here's their house. Anthony's family has been renting a $900,000 home in the Gate community, Richwood in Frisco. Now you're telling him where they are. He got a new car if you look at the license plate, it's got a paper tag and it says expires June 4th. My birthday, by the way. And this is another resident. See, this is how these folks is. Black folks, when you move into your tax bracket associated neighborhoods, remember, these are the people in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood. Racists are the people in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood. Yeah. The lavish lifestyle is in stark contrast to the cash struggles Anthony's father, Andrew Anthony, claimed to have in court Monday, where the parent claimed he was the sole breadwinner. And he got bills to pay. You just listed them off. And he got a family. He's a man with a large family, a wife and kids, and he's supporting it because he's a family man. A well-to-do black family man. What's the problem? Not a gangster, not a criminal rap sheet. So now we have to say, yeah, why are they going to court complaining about money? So now we want to get to the pocket watching side. This is tether business. Is this where tethers get that from too? Hanging with y'all? Liz, ain't this something? It's the lavish lifestyle. That just kills me right there. The lavish lifestyle. Stop. Prosecutors grilled Anthony over why he could not use the more than $439,000 of, or as of Tuesday night, in donated funds for his son's defense to pay the $1 million bond the judge had set. Okay, here's number one. Why would he need to pay $1 million when you're at a bail reduction hearing? For those who don't understand what a bail reduction hearing is, they set this overly inflated bail. That's why they're trying to deal with that. But they'll set this ridiculous bail and then turn around and have a that makes sure you get to court if they let you out. So if you can make that bail, then you'll go, because even people who make bail still go back for the bail reduction because they want their money back. So you'll go get your bail reduced at the bail reduction. That is absolutely customary. And to go from $1 million to, what do they do, a quarter? So what, that's still 25 racks they had to reach to get him out. And by the way, that means that they got him out on their dime, not the money they raised, because they haven't withdrew that. See, what people are saying, $900,000 house, that means that costs money. So that's not money coming in, that's money going out. The cars that they got, money going out. What people are upset at is the family doesn't have to rely on a public pretender. Do you understand why they're upset? The family, this is all this is saying. And this is the law. This is not, it's nothing special. They did not do anything special or out of the ordinary here at all. At all, ladies and gentlemen. I just want y'all to know that. And from somebody who's had to go through this and seen other people go through this, bail reduction hearings are routine. Oh my goodness. I am having neighbors flame out. Oh Lord, hold on, folks. Gotta take a quick pause. All right, now I'm back. I have a very weird, psychotic white woman neighbor that for some reason flips out on a man because she keeps him in dresses. Anyway, moving back into this story. You emasculate him and then mad that he ain't a man. All right. Andrew told the court Andrew told the court that he has no access to the donated funds and instead planned to use the money for his son's legal defense. Right. Because why would you do anything different? Of course, you're going to use the money for the lawyer. The lawyer isn't saying, hey, give me your bill money. And so people are really losing their minds and being irrational about this. It goes on to say many of the family's neighbors didn't know the Anthonys lived among them until Karmelo came home from jail Monday. I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. You mean to tell me these black folks lived in this gated neighborhood and none of these folks knew who lived there? That's a lie. We'll just call cap on that. Rich Woods, as the exclusive community is called, is located within walking distance of Centennial High School, where Anthony ran track and was the captain of the football team before his arrest. Most of the residents were not happy the teen was there and even expressed their fear for their safety. There's this other part that I saw in this story that really gave. Here, they're watching the pizza man. Hey, getting pizza. Man, these people are terrible. Look at them eating pizza. Not good. Not good. I don't think he should be out. I don't understand why he had a knife. My kids were in track. Your tent for you, or I guess for your school, you don't sit under another school's tent. That is not done because everyone leaves their stuff there while they're out on events. The mom explained. Well, again, also, if those people who are there, there's adults at track meets. Where were the adults? And again, it's not that people were not under his tent or under their tent. And here's the other issue. Y'all, they have to keep telling that story that Austin was on the track team, because are you understanding what we're saying? One kid was actually participating in this meet. That name is Karmelo Anthony. Why is Austin concerned about the track team's tent when he's a football player? Ain't no football game out there. See, ain't nobody talking about that. Nobody's saying that. But here's another. Oh man, no. I have not. I keep hearing that Austin's on the football team. There's evidence of him on the football team. You have pictures of Karmelo running track and playing football, captain of the football team. There's no C on Austin Metcalf's shirt. You don't see that on his jersey in the picture they keep showing. I'm just saying. Here's another quote from one of these people. Why would you stab someone? And now he's a few doors down. It's very scary. Like, could he rob houses? I don't know. Why? I'll stop this. These links will be in the description, because we're going to move on to the other stories. But why is the question? This is what caught me, and that's what I really wanted to read for y'all. It's just the nature of people, man. What are we talking about? Is he going to start robbing houses? Was this the tipping point that was going to send him over the edge to embrace a life of criminality? What's wrong with these people, man? Oh my goodness. So at the end of the day, they have raised quite a bit of money on the Gibson Go. They have been trying to get it taken down, and it has not. They are upset at this lowered bill, and now they are upset at the family's tax bracket. Also, it kind of is another jab in the heart that it's a black judge that released. Man, you figure it would be black. The coincidence in that is she's actually Republican. Did you hear me? She is Republican. Oh, man. Can't make this up. Cannot make this up. All right. So that right there stands for societal indictment. And for that pastor, is it Pastor Jordan Wells or whatever? Brother, and I use that term very loosely, you get one of these.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo.
Next up, we have to talk about Barry, a.k.a. Barack Obama. Do y'all know they wrote a story on him? And again, this will be also in the description of this, but listen to this headline, folks. And this is one that I guess Roland Martin is probably going to overlook and all of his crew because, they're trying to now make it seem like black men are leading the charge against the trans agenda. Anyway, this headline from Newsweek reads, Barack Obama foiled by black male voters inspires Ivy League resistance. He doesn't. But anyway. Now, first of all, let me tell you who wrote this article. Where this cash that? This okay. So you see black male voters in the title. It's in the title. This story is written by Jesus Mesa. Jesus Mesa. Not understanding. It's like, hey, it's kind of odd there, but whatever, dude. Oh, okay, I see. Let me see if I get this window in here. That's it. Okay. Yeah, let me get this up here so y'all can see. Okay. Oh, let me get this off screen. All right. So you're actually talking about black male voters now. That's very interesting. But check this. This story is by Jesus Mesa. All right, Jesus, what are we talking about here? So just remember, this is Jesus. This is supposed to be a story about black men. Barack Obama's efforts to rally voters against Donald Trump in the 2024 election met an unexpected wall. Younger black and Latino men. Say what now? No, Latino men were all on board, especially the ones who were rocking with Fat Joe and, but no, the Democrats, the Latinos have been trending conservative for a very long time. But I just couldn't help but notice in a conversation about political power against a Barack Obama, when it clearly was younger black men, they had to lump in Latino men. But I'll just tell you what it was. Younger black men, definitely not Latinos. Now, just months after Kamala Harris's failed bid for the White House, the former president and elder statesman of the wounded Democratic Party is making his own voice heard again, not on the campaign trail, but in the halls of higher education. At a speech last week at Hamilton College in New York, Obama delivered a forceful rebuke of what he views as the Trump administration's authoritarian overreach and its targeting of elite American universities. It is up to all of us to fix this, Obama said during the event. And I told you this. You got to do something. Now, let me remind you something. We're talking about Harvard having issues. Throughout the Harvard admissions deal and all of the things that they were doing with that and how they knocked down and struck down affirmative action, they tried to make it seem like Barack gave a stern type of position to it, but it was really a soft shoe. And now when it comes down to DEI, now all of a sudden he's speaking up. And a lot of the things that are being struck down in this DEI stuff is about gender. And then also the other reason why they're having issues is for this Israel-Palestine thing, which again, they ain't got nothing to do with us. But you talk about the base, and that's, in that broadcast, a couple broadcasts ago, I played the video of Obama telling, the Democrats, we got to do something. You just can't say it. You can't just have empty promises, but you actually have to do something. And, to quote, he has a quote here in this, says, you may actually have to sacrifice to preserve democratic values. One of the things that America is going to have to sacrifice to preserve itself is pay reparations to foundational Black American freedmen. That goes without saying. Now it says, speaking about Trump administration's move to pull federal funding unless universities dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and institute what amounts to federal oversight of their operations, Obama added, if you are a university, you may have to figure out, are we in fact doing things right? If not, and you're going to just being intimidated, or I guess you're going to just be intimidated. Well, you should be able to say that we got this big endowment. Yeah, that's a loaded situation in itself. You have an endowment, but them endowments can also be tampered with based on the relationships of the people you piss off. So, yeah. But maybe, and this is where the rubber meets the road. This is how there's people with the donors are beefing, because you see what you see on the ground level, and these people really don't have a point of reference whatsoever. That's why you got people out here saying anything. It's because the donor class is beefing. And family, that is good. Let them beef. Ain't got nothing to do with us. Let's see. The White House campaign to reshape higher education through funding threats is part of the broader ideological push. President Trump and Education Secretary Linda McMahon have targeted Ivy have targeted Ivy League and other top universities for what they call, quote, ideological capture and, quote, civil rights failures, especially around anti-Semitism. So we're holding on to civil rights and getting rid of DEI. Somebody has to explain. I'm sure we won't get that from a Don Lemon. I'm sure we won't hear that from Roland Martin. Does it take a heterosexual black citizen to say it? Because see, those agendas, it cuts all of it out and it strips a lot. But see, that's why you got a lot of these other tethers who have been hiding out for so long. Like, man, it's going to affect us. No, it ain't. Oh man, don't you know it can affect me? No, it can't. It's not how this works. We don't share the same status if you feel that way. That much is clear. Let's see. I'm gonna scoot down here. What is the cost of defiance? A loss of nearly $2.3 billion in federal grants and contracts. Let me tell you something. My state's doing it too. There's a few states that's going to further send their territories into a spiral. And remember, these are Democrat areas. They're not worried about the people. They're only worried about the damn party. Because they can't do what they've been doing if they really care about the people. And I hope, especially with black folks who have been the base of these folks for so long, I really hope that, you take to heart how they doing you, how they've allowed you to be done, and how they're going to sit up here and, because they're going to defy the government against pushing transgenders and pushing little boys and girls sports, or staying a sanctuary city after all of this money the taxpayers has went to these people. And now even in my city just recently, they came up with this new calculation to calculate homeless. And in the year that this sanctuary city was spending all of this money on these illegals, our homeless population increased by 26%. That is insane. And so this is the brass tacks. Black folks need to wake the hell up. We cannot afford to be talking subversive against ourselves. We need to be about the business of black empowerment. And when you start hearing these people talking about these numbers, just know how many of these numbers skipped over your community. But they're coming from the people that you said got your back. The people that told you they got your back. Yeah, they got your back all right. With whips. So that story will also be in the description. But lastly, we just give you a tasty tidbit from my neck of the woods and give you some historical pieces. Matter of fact, you know what I want to do? Hold on. Bear with me 1 second so I can do this thing here. Yeah. Just going. Okay. All right. Share this. All right, get you in here. Okay. Doing it like this. Okay, there we go. So let me make such. All right. So just so you can see what's happening. And when people have these conversations about, they like to project their culturalistic histories on us. And then you have the other idiots that, man, slavery was so long ago, and all of this is when you guys are just victims and victimhood, and all the victimists and victimhood, and white people victims too. Well, let's read from something, shall we? And I'm sure, you see this Oregon last law, you see this man with his whip back right here. I'm sure many of you have saw this picture and probably didn't know where it came from. Because he's like, man, this is a black man with a whip back from slavery. You wouldn't think he would have been from Oregon. So, slavery, a national and Oregon summary. National events. Slavery has been called America's original sin, corrupting the culture and politics of the nation. By the early 1800s, the economies of the northern and southern states had clearly diverged, with urban industries growing in the north and rural slave plantations dominating in the south. Over the decades, Congress tried to balance these two opposites and competing ways of life as the young nation expanded geographically to the west. It prohibited slavery in the new Northwest Territories around the Great Lakes in 1787 and practically set the Ohio River as the boundary between slave and free territory reaching the west to the Mississippi River. Much of the national struggle for the next 70 years revolved around a competition to admit slave and free states to the Union. The Missouri Compromise of 1820 attempted to keep a balance of power by drawing an east-west line near the 36th parallel that allowed slavery below it and outlawed it above it. This band-aid on the festering wound failed to solve the underlying problems caused by slavery. The Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 effectively repealed it by allowing each new state south of the 40th parallel to decide whether to be a slave state or a free state. 3 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court went further in the Dred Scott case, stating that the federal government lacked the power to regulate slavery in territories acquired after the creation of the country. This decision tore the Band-Aid off the slavery wound, and the nation quickly descended into civil war. And then there's Dred Scott. The U.S. Supreme Court denied Dred Scott's bid for freedom from slavery and further divided the nation in 1857. So right there you have where the United States government is completely on board. So now let's go over here. In 1843, Oregon Provisional Legislature passed a measure prohibiting slavery, but made no mention of free blacks. The next year, Peter Burnett, bolstered by a new wave of fellow Midwestern settlers, introduced a bill that intended new restrictions against blacks. This one section required people holding slaves in Oregon to remove them within 3 years, or the slaves would be freed. Another section required free blacks over the age of 18 to leave Oregon or be subject to trial. If found guilty, the person was to receive upon his or her bare back not less than 20 nor more than 39 stripes to be inflicted by the constable of the proper county. The punishment was to be repeated every 6 months until the person departed. We are talking about state government that was allowed under the federal government. When people talk about, man, you just want white people, you think white people should pay, man, everybody done been in this position. No, they have not. And we have a unique claim and a unique cause here, because on a mass scale, you have the black code. See, people talk about, oh man, the black codes. Oh, well, you just can't use that. Okay, well, what about this last law over here? Been doing all kind of wickedness to us. All kind of wickedness. This quote last law passed, but was soon changed to replace the whipping provisions with one's calling for forced labor, followed by removal from Oregon. So if you didn't get what that just meant, hey, instead of whipping them, let's put them back in slavery. We'll just call it something else. Forced labor. That sounds better. That's not slavery. We'll just do forced labor. Hey, wait. Let's not kick them out. I know we were lashing them, and that kind of helps us get our jollies, but, realistically, they're probably better served actually just going back to slavery over here. But we're not going to call it slavery. We're going to call it forced labor. So when people say, oh, there was no slavery out west, first off, do you recognize the fact that they basically acknowledged that there were slaves being held in Oregon? Because if you have to make a law about slave owners releasing their slaves within 3 years, that means that there had to be slaves out here for a while. See how that works? After a shift in the makeup of the legislature, the law was repealed in 1845. All right. And so now the Oregon situation. While geographically distant from the national infection caused by slavery, Oregon was not immune. The growing decision over slavery were imported to Oregon in the 1840s as waves of white settlers traveled west on the Oregon Trail with potentially racist attitudes. They were coming out here because of their attitudes. These immigrants, betraying their Midwest and border states experiences, brought their hatred of slavery and free blacks across the plains to their new homes. The great majority of these new Oregonians simply wanted to create an all-white society free of the racial problems threatening to cause an American Civil War. So if you're basically understanding why we call this place Little Dixie, it's because of those so-called white settlers ain't nothing but a bunch of Dixiecrats from the Midwest. That's all. That is all. Amid the national turmoil, delegates to the Oregon Constitutional Convention in 1857 sought statehood to be better control, to better control their own governmental destiny. They grappled with the issue related to race and slavery throughout the throughout the proceedings. In the end, the delegates referred their questions to voters who overwhelmingly voted in November 1857 to prohibit slavery and ban free blacks. Although the resulting laws were not really enforced, they still sent a message. Thus, while small numbers of blacks were tolerated in Oregon throughout the mid-1800s, they struggled on the margins of society with few friends and fewer rights. That's the deprivation that they always want black folks to be in. Now, I hope on this good, it's a beautiful Wednesday here, I hope y'all understand why they're so upset at this young man having a real, seems to have a prosperous life with his family. They're working black middle class. This is what they always say we was striving to be. So they actually achieved it. A tragedy occurred. It's terrible. It is a terrible tragedy. But however, I do believe this young man should be free, free and clear from any future prosecution or pursuing from law enforcement, because at the end of the day, this was simply a situation of self-defense, and self-defense is there's no sitting up here to say, well, let's judge what this person's intent was doing that was being in the assaulting manner. You already have what their intent was, and it was to accost this young man. So it's not just putting your hands on somebody is when self-defense comes in. When you're taught self-defense in classes, when you're a kid, for those who may have got to learn like judo or karate, what you learn early, even in boxing, you're number one in fighting is defense. And the other two, well, actually, the first lesson of fighting is don't. But if you have to, then see that's the responsibility. So when the person that was being responsible in this was the person who didn't first act when he got hands put on him. The second time that happened, then he's saying, hey, I'll give you a chance and hit me. Why then do they start acting like this guy goes over and didn't try to hit him? Clearly he had to. And we're not hearing the rest of the story. Why do you think they're slow rolling an indictment? They are slow rolling this indictment for real. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on these particular stories, but see, am I in the right one here? I believe I am. Let me go to Twitter. So, okay, maybe that won't come. Let me open up my Twitter here for y'all. I'm asking questions, and these people are losing their minds. I'm asking questions about Jasmine Crockett. And these people are losing it. One question I asked is where's her family from? And I don't understand why that's becoming such a big, huge issue for people. We need to know where folks is from. Man, he trying to tear the sister down, man. Oh my God. Man, why can't you just support the sister, brother? Well, first off, we need to find out if she actually is. And I heard that Centennial's a way better school, I guess, than where those kids is going. So they are kind of talking about it might be a little bit of jealousy. But let me share this window. Okay. Is that in there? Yeah, it is. All right. So, family, I posed the question: does this woman look like an FBA / Freedman to you? Look at how many people responded to this or have viewed this. It's almost 70,000 folks. I posted this a few days ago. Now, so this is probably going to make a few. Check this out. So this is probably going to make a few Democrat shills even more upset. Notice that it's a lot of tethers and non-foundational Black American freedmen that are coming up upset about my question about Jasmine Crockett's lineage. Well, here's another question about Jasmine Crockett's lineage, or actually even her legitimacy. Can anyone find me her flyer, her campaign while she was running for her position in Texas that gave her the position to forward her position? Okay. And so people are feeling some kind of way about what I'm saying. And I'm asking a very clear-cut question. But let's look at some of these responses, family. Let's look here. Okay. Not with that wig. Now, this response was very interesting too. Because this person says, I asked Grok to do a deep dive on Jasmine Crockett's ancestry. Jasmine's heritage is wiped from the internet. Looks like she's a plant on Black America. Despite an extensive search throughout public records, genealogy databases, and other available sources, I was unable to find specific information identifying the names or details of Representative Jasmine Crockett's grandparents. Below is a detailed account of the efforts made and challenges encountered, along with suggestions for further research. I've searched throughout public records, genealogy database, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's what you got right there. Okay, exactly. And then here's this. Posed with Alex Soros, her benefactor and handler. Jasmine Crockett has been sent on us. No family heritage to speak of. She's a plant. And you're not lying. I've tried looking her family up. You can't find anything. Another Obama / Kamala imposter bot. Flat blackness no longer works. So they are scrubbing the internet clean of their saboteurs' background info. That's a fact. If it is this hard to check a person's lineage, then she's definitely not a real Black American from American soil. She definitely gives off immigrant vibes. Her IQ says it all. She's stomping for her legal family. Okay, so another cosplaying tether. So, that was a good one. Dr. Short said, nope. CC Freeman said, I thought she was a Caribbean. KK said, nope. Dr. Doom to Victory says, Chat GP says she was born in Missouri. She doesn't look FBA to you? Like, where her grandparents from? Let's see what they say. Mr. Now I'm interested. I'll do some research. Okay. Now, this one was very interesting. Yes, y'all weird. And so I said, when a hit dog hollers. Now, where this conversation ends up going is very interesting. I said, when a hit dog hollers, I'm kind of referring to this kind of get up, which, you know, she might be FBA, she might not be. But, you know, that's kind of a 50-50 ball for me. And so here's her response to me. You hoe-ass niggas be blue, black, questioning somebody. Bitch, I'm Black American on both sides. And this lady look Black American whether you like her politics or not. Peon ass. This be so funny. This like, okay, this is you, right? But this is you. Fellas. These ladies be wondering why can't I get a man? Why won't anybody talk to me? Why they call me masculine? Because you first came up here talking to a man you don't know like this. For starters, now moving on, hit dogs holler because I don't agree. I don't know what this abbreviation means, if that's supposed to be a word. Acting very cultish. Again, just to remind you, this is the question. Now, family, does this woman look FBA or Freeman to you? That is simply the question. And she doing all the most. Oh, you blah, 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 okay. And then hit blah, blah, blah. Because you don't agree with the politics, but everybody y'all act don't like. See, it's a y'all. I asked the question, ma'am. Not y'all, me. And I asked the family. You joined in and chimed in and responded. You didn't have to. Y'all asses don't like or anybody darker than a paper bag is not an immigrant or a descendant of immigrants. See, she went on this weird colorist thing. As you see, interesting response. How did she get to this colorism thing? We're not even talking about Jasmine Crockett's color at all. And so, you know, you say what I'm saying, interesting response. Right. Where did she get all that from? LOL. There's another part. Like, where did you come from with that? There's some deeper underlying stuff going on with you. I'm glad you're noticing how colorist these people are towards darker skinned FBAs. Then notice them hoes weird as blah blah blah. My daughter is the only full black light skin. What? Wait. So you're responding to colorism, and then you're responding with colorism? Oh, Lord, these children. Like, not true, because it's like, yeah, I don't understand. When you say you do, she's okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. So let me keep going. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. So this dude who actually posted Tariq Nasheed and his family and his kids, which was really crazy to me. I don't know what makes people, the men, I don't know what makes you do that. You call yourself a man. Stop doing that. It's very hoish. It's extremely hoish to post anymore. And also that tells me y'all ain't really about nothing. And y'all ain't from nothing either. Because anybody doing that, you ain't from nothing. I guess you're going to be getting up here talking real tough on the internet, and that's going to be about it. Because if you as a man thought that that's okay to do, and you're going to be putting a person's children or a person's woman out there and be like, oh, yeah, look at this, everybody, and this and that. Oh, I can see where you're not from. Because you don't have no codes, no ethics. And then you're going to sit up here, be all up in front. Man, I see so much of this. one thing X has done has allowed a lot of insecure simps to run out here and talk aggressive online. And so some of these ladies be falling for it, be like, yeah, that's a man. He came up and he shook his head and got sassy along with me. It just had some stronger male energy. Yeah, but he was just still as sassy. Anyway, look at Muhammad here. Muhammad wanted to chime in. Now, what Muhammad got invested over here? You're a whole Nigerian, dude. I see dark-skinned women with wigs. What F you weirdos be on about? Why are you over here anyway? We're talking family business. Here he go inserting this ashy ankle self. Another 200. Like, oh yeah, because some of them Africans just got them, they just got internet. So, like, you know, expect to see a lot more of this for a little bit. Build that double mansion. Oh, they kind of I see why you are triggered. Tethers. Facts. I'll go ahead and give you a like there, buddy. D block. What woman? The pic shows one woman and your sentence is not a complete one. Let's take a look at D block. See, this is what you know when they all got these few people. So D block. Is this a woman here? What are you? Holding cash. Oh, this is. Oh, yeah, this is let's see, D block 757. Let me just go down here a bit. Okay. Oh, this might be the immortally stupid. Yeah, you know, because your posts always give y'all away. So yeah, I think that's from the immortally stupid crew. That's the sockless or sock dancer and the other immortal idiot. So that's what people had to say. But look at 69,000 tethers are bothered, man. Bothered. And there have been people going back and forth on here. Most people say no. But I'm noticing even on TikTok. Oh, look, now this is the other one I wanted to get to. Bobby Souls. Bobby Souls. Another, these people ain't, nobody's following these dudes, man. Right? But they all got something to say. Over here. Somebody says, we know our people. He says, all I am seeing is memes and corny ass niggas with no pictures. Them aren't FBA traits. I just recently changed my photo, by the way. I see a dusty, broke bum looking from Belize with memes and no pictures. Now, let me see. Okay. And so he said, my grandmother is from Hope, Arkansas, and my grandfather is from Wichita Falls. Your last name is Souls, and I see Norton here. Bobby Souls. You say you from Hope and Wichita Falls. My other grandparents are from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Yeah, okay, you got that part down. And realistically, you know, Bobby Souls might be he might be FBA. You know, but you got a lot of like he say, Bobby Souls a Democrat loving dickhead. So, you know, you're gonna have plenty of those. The eyebrows and wigs give it away. Her phenotype. They're trying to say she too dark or her lips are too thick. They getting with Rockefeller. We have FBA's family that's dark. What are you talking about? Exactly what I'm saying. They keep posting dark skin on certain features like it's not an FBA thing. This isn't about her being dark, genius. I don't know. Like, this is they saw this and this said, oh, this is about being dark. You see this outfit? Do you see this outfit? Look at the collar. And then the wig with the comb over? No. There should be something that's wrong. And then also, maybe these lips. It's not that it's her big lips, because her lips are no bigger. Matter of fact, her lips are more narrow than most foundational Black Americans. That's why people in this thread were posting pictures of Cardi B and the other one. And it's like they keep trying to tell you what we're seeing. Folks are trying to tell you what we are looking at. Oh, not to mention her forehead. And y'all seen other pictures when she had braids. You know good and doggone well she got an immigrant hairline. So maybe she's not an immigrant, but for all intents and purposes, her hairline most definitely looks immigrant. And some of you guys are having a hard time dealing with that. And the only reason I can think of is that you want her in there just like you want these other people in there to help further y'all's cause against foundational Black American freedmen, and it ain't happening. Oh, by the way, in Oakland, Barbara Lee, who thought that, see, this is what we're talking about over here. The foundational Black American family has spoken. Y'all better get on board, Democrats, because when we told y'all was going to lose and lose miserably if you don't choose to put your money over here in Black Americans' faces, y'all going to lose. And already right now, that's why I'm speaking. So you got the little young tether in the Congressional Black Caucus that all of a sudden he going to try to take it upon himself to start talking about grassroots and Black folks. So there's going to be a new pivot. That'll be one of the things I'm talking about later this week. And we will be covering that, because trust me, it's going to be more of that, because now they have to talk about Black men and Black men's effect on politics. And the reason why is because most of y'all don't even know Barbara Lee was running for mayor in Oakland, and she just got her ass whooped. Well, I can't say it. It's still kind of close. They wrapping up these votes, but and they know that that's a barometer to how things are going to go, not just for Kamala Harris looking at and eyeing being the next governor of California, but even more so how it works for her running again in 2028. Also for Gavin Newsom. It really puts the Democrats on notice that Black men ain't playing. Oh, guess what? And Barbara Lee is losing to who? A Black man. Take that to the bank. We told you, put your money in the bag, because we got this bag. You will go broke if you don't wanna put your money on us. So Democrats and Republicans and all of you others, put your money in the bag, because we got this bagged up. And that's just what it is, family. Now, I hope everybody can understand. Not everybody rocking in our car. And if we have the question, and your history has been scrubbed for the internet, you best know that this is the question.
Where's your family from?
And if you upset about it, well, it's because you ain't one of us. And people sit up here and act like, oh man, come on, unity, brother, unity. What difference does it make if she's not from our lineage? I mean, we all one. And what if she's not from our lineage, she can still speak and represent our. Even more so with Jasmine Crockett. She has shown where her heart is. And her heart is with the people that come here illegally. And she has said nothing about us other than trying to use us as a springboard to promote illegal immigrants. So for Jasmine Crockett and everybody down with her and everybody down with that agenda, from the independent Black voice to y'all, hashtag fire up the jet.
Happy birthday, we're celebrating you today. Like Dr. King holiday, we ain't gonna do any work today. Happy birthday today. It's your beautiful day, and we gonna party all day like it's a freaking holiday.
Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all being here again at the Independent Black Voice. And today we just, the response to Karmelo Anthony getting bail and the Democrats regrouping, which I can't really even call it a regroup, but because they're gonna have to figure out something. They're just using Obama, and Obama's telling y'all like, "Hey, man, the Black folks, they kind of foiled the plans here," and so they're coming out just like that article from Newsweek telling y'all Black folks foiled the plans. This is the month of April, New Black Media Appreciation Month. Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony's situation happened April 2nd. This supposed and typical holy month for supremacists has been absolutely overshadowed with the brotherhood and sisterhood of foundational Black American spirit and freedman pride. And that is a great thing. But there might be somebody out there that disagrees, and you think, oh man, he's a killer, and he's this, and he's that. And for you Black folks, like the pastor I played, man, white people's lives matter too. They don't need your help, stupid, and we don't need you going out there to talk for us because you don't. Just like us vetting a person who ain't been on the scene but just a few years. We was back in 2016, even back in 2018. I mean, let's think about what's her face? Stacey Abrams running and campaigning. When Stacey Abrams was running and campaigning, you didn't hear nothing about no Jasmine Crockett. So to act like we should just be welcoming with open arms from this person to whom we've seen over there at Soros's, and see what the Soros is, that we supposed to just automatically take this person? No, we are not. And that is why we are firmly rejecting Jasmine Crockett until her lineage is proven. And we're not doing this fake Black thing again. And we're not having a person outside of our lineage speaking for our lineage anymore. If you can't understand or comprehend the reasoning, truth, and need for that, well then, I speak for myself, beatzillapdx official, the independent Black voice, those of you in the chat, the grassroots, and the voices of new Black media. I know I am safe to say I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
And one more time for that pastor.
Buck dancing, shuffling, scratching, bootlicking, bamboozling, Uncle Tom Negro.
Whew. Painful. Family, again, like and share this broadcast if you have not already done so. Make sure you Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And of course, if you would like to support this channel by putting something in the bucket by way of donation, you could do so at CashApp, $beatzillapdx. And we also have PayPal, which is Zilla Muzak. That's ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And with these folks out here, what they trying to do, they really upset about this kid. So y'all down there in Texas, make sure that y'all keep this family guarded and protected, because you see what the supremacist media is trying to spend it, because so now they got too much money. What they do with all that money? Oh, they swindling and grifting, and this boy got a whole case and trial to fight possibly. But let's hope that they don't even get an indictment and call it a done deal and send this boy home free of charges, and the rest should be history, because it's not murder one. Most definitely not. Nothing premeditated. And he didn't even know he had did it. So at the best, manslaughter should have been the only thing they actually tried to charge him with. So I think right now they're busy looking at lesser charges. But even for these white politicians, they're stuck in a pickle. And so the black politicians, they don't want to piss their constituents off that vote for them. Look at all the black politicians who are refusing to speak, and remember what they are telling you about Barack Obama. It was the black male vote that foiled them antics of them trying to come just get something for nothing. And we ain't with it. Everybody else is having a hard time right now. It ain't nothing but another day for us. So remember, this is why they're mad.
It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the flow. You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
Hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Yes, indeed, family. Thank y'all once again for tuning in. I appreciate y'all so much. This has been the Independent Black Voice. Y'all, until next time, what we need y'all to do around here is make sure you spread the word about this channel. And also, don't forget, we have the other channel, Zilla Perspectives. So make sure you go subscribe to our other channel, Zilla Perspectives. That's where we talk about other things, not politics. And when you see this up there in your screen, see up there in the corner, that's Zilla Perspectives. So make sure you tune into those videos as well. One just dropped yesterday. So go tune in over to Zilla Perspectives right here on the YouTube platform. So until further notice, we are getting out of here now. So tell a friend, and tell your family. Stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all. Have a blessed evening.